Another thing I need to be aware of is wishful thinking, thinking that things are all going to fall into place. It's almost magical because I want it. And because I want it, I can often look past the pitfalls, the fact that the odds might be against me, and just push forward. I need to look at things more rationally and be honest with myself. Um, we need to keep in mind that decisions involve options. And I need to consider options and I need to consider possible and, let's say, likely outcomes and consequences anytime I make a decision. And honestly weighing the good, the bad, the ugly, when I look at those choices. Um, what's that saying? Never make decisions when we're too tired, too angry, too hungry, or too lonely. That seems to apply quite well. Um, Another area we need to be aware of is once in a lifetime opportunities. Um, Many people have fallen prey to that. Sometimes simply because there's usually an emotional appeal that occurs when one of these opportunities come along and gets those emotions geared up. And when those emotions get geared up, the logic can be left aside. Um, Another thing that happens often with these lifetime opportunities is greed. Human nature, unfortunately, we can succumb to wanting things and wanting them easily. And so often these, let's say, offers appeal to that side of the human persona. So we need to be aware of that because it's that old saying, you know, when things appear too good to be true, they usually are. We also need to be aware of the sensation when we're facing a choice of missing out. I don't want to miss out on this. So again, we can act too quickly, maybe impulsively, not considering the possible consequences and long-term effects. Um, Again, that can be in a situation where the emotional appeal can be very, very strong, and so we don't consider all the options. To make good decisions, we have to take a cold, honest look at ourselves in the mirror. Be honest with ourselves about our past patterns, our past triggers, our possible blind spots when it comes to certain things. And it may have to do with how we deal with money, if we've had a history of struggles financially, how we deal with relationships. Again, if we've faced one, let's say, unhealthy relationship after another. It could do with careers and how I choose careers or how my jobs end. But look for those patterns. And again, the common denominator is always us. We're the one that's always there in these patterns that tend to repeat. So I need to look at what choices I'm making, how to avoid the bad ones, and then how to employ the good ones. Um, to always consider the long-term effects of my choices. If I take that extra moment to think about how's this going to affect me tomorrow, next week, next year, long term, it can slow me down so that I can consider the pros and the cons of whatever decision I'm making and hopefully make the best decision, the best option that I have. Another thing I'll add here is we need to also be careful when making decisions that we don't simply make the easiest decision because it is the easiest. The easiest decision isn't always the right decision. It isn't always the one that's going to pay off the highest rate in the end. It's not always the decision that is fair, equitable, moral. Sometimes the hardest decisions are the right decisions, but they come with a certain price, extra work, sometimes even being rejected by other people. So that's another trap we need to beware of, that the easiest decision isn't always the right one. To sum up, bad decisions, we need to avoid them as best we can by not acting too fast, not acting too slowly, by trying to please others, making decisions when we're angry, making decisions simply on our own, making decisions out of fear, or reacting rather than responding. Good decisions we can make by recognizing our patterns of the past, using the good but trying to avoid the bad, being informed, not engaging in wishful thinking or succumbing to once-in-a-lifetime opportunities, or giving in to that fear of missing out. In conclusion, one point I would leave with you is this: keep in mind that mistakes are often the best opportunities for learning. And I hope we all learn.